Man, that Adrian Newey car. Oh, hey. Sorry, I didn't see you there. My name's Ian. Welcome to my video. I'm Ian. This is Kona. Oh, that's Kona. This is the first video of quite a few videos of how to build a race, potentially winning MR slot car. Some of you may not know that MR slot car is actually Mazzetti Racing slot car of Ernie Mazzetti 124 scale fame. So we have a race coming up at Electric Dreams in November for MR slot car cars, and this will be the build of that car. Let's get after it. So you'll see here, I've already disassembled the car for the project. I have all the parts in my little bin here, and I have the white body, and I have my chassis and pod. I also have some extra wheels that I'll be working on for the project. And the first step here is I want to flatten the chassis and deburr it. And what I mean there is I basically want to take the chassis and make sure that it sits totally flat on the block, and you can see it has a nice bow to it right now. Focus on it. And that bow is going to, not only affect the performance of the car in the corners, but also going down the straightaway, because the torque may transfer from the tires to the track strangely. Maybe one side to the other is not even. So what we want to do is we want to get all the tweak out of the car. Part of this process is that I'm going to take this X-Acto blade and I'm going to also deburr the chassis, and I'll show you how to do that next. So what do I mean by deburring the pod and the chassis? Well, the thing is that a lot of these parts come out of the mold with some little flashing bits on here. I'll see if I can show you. So you'll see here there's like a little piece that sticks up there on both sides. That's what I'd refer to as flashing. And then you can also see that there's a little bit of flashing around here. And this is all the little stuff that really makes a difference in a race car. A car out of the box might be okay, but we're starting to get into the stuff here where, when people refer to cars being magic cars, or, don't change this car because it's good. These are the things that those people could be doing to make their cars consistent from one car to the next. So how do I do this? So basically, I'm going to come in here with an X-Acto knife, and I'm going to just basically scrape off. You can do it either this way, where we just scrape off, or a way that I really like to do it is I actually like to take the sharp end of the blade here, and I actually like to just scrape. And this works a lot better on some areas than others, but I'll just basically, I know you guys are like, no, your finger. I'll basically just scrape all this off until, that is smooth. So that's not totally how I want right now, but I'll show you another area. So here, maybe on this edge, we have some issues too. So what I'll do is I'll take the straight edge of the knife and I'll just run it along there. And what it does is it creates a really nice little edge that I'm having trouble focusing on. But that keeps it from binding when it's in the car and maybe it's tilting or it's doing this. It keeps it from binding. And you do that enough places, and that's how you get that really, really nice pod movement, is you make sure that there's no binding anywhere, And so I'll do the same thing on the chassis. So the chassis here, I'll go through and I'll basically clean out here. I'll clean out here. My favorite noise. And then what I'll also do, just as a nice touch, is I will also do all the leading corners to make sure that the car is smooth to the touch, because sometimes those can just kind of make handling the car not as nice, but also those areas might hang below the chassis when you try to flatten it. So maybe there's like a little bit of an edge, and it's going to keep the car from actually sitting flat. And that's what we really need in order to flatten the chassis in the oven. which I will show you next. So you might ask, why do we even need to straighten the chassis? Why do they come this way? Well, I've had a conversation with Maurizio about it, and he says that it's not an issue with the chassis or the molds. What's actually happening is when they get out of the mold, they cool too quickly, which causes them to bow. So what we're going to be doing here is we want to have the chassis reach a point at which it's malleable, but then it doesn't cool quickly. So the goal here is we want to cool the chassis as slowly as possible. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up the oven to 190 degrees. I'm going to put this in. This is a steel plate I got on Amazon. I'm going to put it in and take it out so that it's not going to be 190 degrees, but it'll probably be like 150. I'm going to take the chassis, I'm going to put it on the steel plate, and I'm going to align all the magnets where I want them to go. I'll probably do this with the pod to make sure that it all aligns perfectly. I'm going to then leave it in the oven for 5 to 10 minutes, and then what I'm going to do is turn off the oven and let the oven cool with the chassis inside. And I'm going to leave it there for several hours, and then I would recommend probably doing it overnight. And then what will happen is you'll get the chassis out the next morning, and it'll be boom, super flat, super true. And that's the way that I've been doing it. And no, I don't melt chassis. 190 degrees is pretty good for pretty much any chassis. So next step, I'll go into the kitchen, spin up the oven, and get this thing started. Okay, so the first step, like I said, is we're going to turn on the oven. So we're going to go bake 190 degrees. And while it's preheating, I'm going to put the steel plate inside the oven to heat this up, but I'm going to take it out before it gets to 190. So we're going to put this in here, and then we wait. So what I've done here is I've added in the screws to the pod, and what that does is it helps support everything while it's on the plate and keep everything flat. Okay, so we're at 190. I let it go a little too long, so we're going to take it out. Make sure to use your mitt. Take it out. We're going to put it here, and it's a little hot, so I'm going to let it sit for a couple minutes. I don't want it to be like scorching hot, but this should be good in probably 5 or 10 minutes. So we got the chassis here. We got the plate, which is now at like 150 degrees or so. I put some washers down here just to make sure that the guide tongue is supported. So I'm going to put this down, and I am going to now apply magnets all over. And I'm trying to do this moderately quick because I don't want the chassis to be unsupported and hot on this plate. So I'm going to put these pretty much everywhere. Let's see, you can hear my cat in the background. She appreciates all this hard work. Oh, I guess she doesn't. Let's see here. Do some little corners here. She really doesn't appreciate it. And that actually looks pretty good right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and put this back into the oven. This is clearly not doing anything. So I think that'll be okay. Put this back in the oven here. And we're going to leave that in there for about 5 or 10 minutes and then turn it off.
You hate slot cars, don't you? Yeah, they suck. Oh, yeah.
So we're done here. The chassis has been in the oven for about 10 minutes. This is the next step. There you go. Gonna let that sit overnight, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, it's day 2. I got the chassis here. I got the pod there. Let's check them out. Did it work? I'd say it did. Real flat. Yep, perfect. The pod is flat too. And we're good to go. So that completes phase 1 of the project, where we work on the chassis. The next phase is going to be the guide, and we're going to work on all the running gear. And then the last phase will be the body. See you guys next time.